All right, so we just finished with assignment number 7, which was for you to watch 2 TED Talks and answer some questions for them. The goal is for you to find an argumentative stance in something from one of the TED Talks, some thread you can pull that you're interested in then researching and finding sources. So let's talk about assignment number 8, where you're going to do some research on your own using UC Claremont's online library, the general internet, the library itself, like the Public Library of Cincinnati and Hamilton County, any of these things to find some research to help support your argumentative stance. So the thesis, I just want to caution you, make sure your thesis is not too broad, not too vague. So I'll give you an example. If you wanted to write about technology's impact, it would not be a good idea to talk about technology's impact on physical health, mental health, and politics. Yes, and a lot of people like to write in the rule of 3, RULE, the rule of 3, which is I need 3 main things to talk about. That's okay. That's kind of a simplistic way to look at it. But if you take big topics like that, then your essay will have breadth but no depth, which means you will have a lot of things that you talk about, but you won't talk about them in any kind of depth or complexity. So what you need to do is make sure that you are not tackling what would normally be one essay and trying to tackle 3 essay topics in one essay. So you could take one of those, you could take technology's impact on mental health, and then come up with, this is a good way to think about it, the causes, the consequences, the solutions. So what is causing technology's impact on mental health? What are the consequences of that? And then what are some solutions? That would be a better way to attack that topic rather than going mental health, physical health, politics. So keep that in mind. And then the other is that, so you give your thesis, just the thesis. I don't want your entire introduction. Just give me what is your main argument. It has to be a complete sentence at least. And it has to have some specificity in it, like I just said. So technology's impact on mental health is caused by, these are the consequences which cause negative consequences, and the solution is. If that's 1 sentence, 2 sentences, 3 sentences, that's fine. You just need to make sure that you have it all in there in your thesis statement. Now beyond that, you're then going to make an annotated bibliography. What is that? What does that require you to do? Well, first of all, there are handouts in the module that give you examples. You need at least 5 sources and 5 annotations. One example that I give you is just 1, and another example is 3, but you have to do that for all 5 of your sources, so keep that in mind. What is the point of the annotated bibliography? Well, number 1, find the research, be proactive. Is there enough research to back up your argumentative stance? Is it credible research? That way you're not wasting your time trying to write an essay that doesn't have the factual information to back it up. That's where you're getting your credibility, right? So your credibility is coming from the credibility of your sources that you're then going to quote from correctly in your essay. Now, your annotations, you got to put them in works cited format, which means you need a hanging indent. It needs to follow MLA 9. There are handouts on that in the module. We've been doing that. I've been asking you, so you've been thinking about from the very beginning when we were looking at Pamela Paul and some of the rhetorical analysis stuff. I've been asking you, like with the Ehrenreich and the Nancy Mayers and the stuff like that, to put it in MLA format so that you're practicing that. You're working some of the assignments, you're working a quote with a parenthetical citation from the Ted Chiang article, from the Barbara Ehrenreich article, stuff like that. But anyway, you're going to do a works cited entry for each of the 5 sources, and then you need an annotation. And so the annotation has 3 parts. So if you look at the handout, I've highlighted in there the 3 separate parts. If you want to highlight them yourself, go ahead. If you don't, just make sure they're all there. Okay, so it's kind of like a summary of the important parts, the credibility, you're assessing the credibility of the source, and then how you're going to use it. So those are the 3 parts. Usually it looks like a paragraph. So be aware, the assignment that you're going to turn in this week is going to have a very specific thesis statement. Then you're going to have at least 5 works cited entries. Below each works cited entry is going to be a paragraph annotation. If you have any questions or concerns about that, email me. It's like raising your hand in class, in a face-to-face class. I teach face-to-face. I teach asynchronous online. So I know kind of the drawbacks and benefits of each way of doing it. And I know one of the things for asynchronous is, it'd be nice to be able just to talk to you. And I mean, you're hearing me right now, and you might have a question in your head, but you're not able to raise your hand and ask it in the moment. So email me. Beyond that, if your grade is not where you'd like it to be, do the extra credit. I sent an email to your email address about there's an extra credit option. It's in the announcements, and then I had somebody reach out because I've put more announcements since then. They're having trouble finding it. So there is a module under assignment 7 before assignment 8. So between assignment 7 and 8 that says extra credit. I put all the details in there. That's due this Wednesday, March 5th by noon. You have the opportunity for up to 50 points. Some of the smaller assignments that we've been doing here or there than 12.5. So this is the equivalent of 4 smaller assignments, minor assignments. What you're doing, you're taking a different article by Barbara Ehrenreich and doing a one and done rhetorical analysis of at least 1,000 words, all graded, and whatever your final grade is will be extra credit. So no matter what, it's going to be pure points on top of your grade. So even if you did it and it would normally be like a 60% D, that's a 30 out of 50, but it's extra credit. So it's a 30 out of 0. That's just 30 points added to your grade. So keep that in mind. I know it's asking you to write an essay, but I mean, honestly, if you want the extra credit, put a little sweat equity into it, earn it, and then let's move on. All right, if you have any questions about that, reach out to me. But if it's not in my email by noon on Wednesday, March 5th, then you've decided you didn't want to do that opportunity and we're moving on with the semester. So reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns, and have a good rest of your week. I look forward to reading your thesis and annotated bibliographies on Friday. Thanks.